Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review. And yeah, as you can probably see by my face and especially my head, a little bit red because it's incredibly sunny at the moment. Now, I was planning on doing some reviews and I thought I'd do a beer on trend one because I haven't done some reviews for a while and I'm a bit behind. But what I found out was um, they're no longer doing the spider diagrams and the tastings inside the magazine. So the magazine is not so relevant. I mean, they do have articles and all sorts of stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. And I quite like the writing. Sometimes it's very biased in that magazine. However, what they have done is on their website, that's where you can now get the information. So I'm going to read some stuff off the website because my computer's here and I won't be looking at you, dear viewer. So I very much apologise. I'll try and work out a better way of doing this, I think, for future reviews. But that's the beer we're looking at. It's by Duration and it's called Another Way Done. Really cool artwork on there. I will have a look at the can and see, well, we'll look at it together and we'll see if I can work out where this artwork is. Let's have a look. Ding, ding, ding. They usually say somewhere on there. Dun, dun, dun. Doesn't look like it says, which is a shame. Anyway, it says this juicy pale is the ideal beer to crack open when your working day is done. Well, it's the weekend, so shamon, don't have to worry about that. Bags of tropical fruit aroma, including peach and mango. It pours bright with a light haze and drinks juicy and crisp. Ends with a soft bitterness and a refreshing dry finish for an everyday enjoyment. At session strength, why not celebrate another day done every day? And as we can see there, it's 4.5 or 4.4%. Some weird stuff on there. It says may contain some sediment. Well, that's cool. Juicy mango and citrus. Hops fade fast, so basically drink it pretty quick. It's vegan friendly, so that's another reason why it's probably got loads of sediment in there and old bits of rat and all that crap. Anyway, the brewery itself, Duration, is a progressive farmhouse brewery in Norfolk, making beers that belong, wild ales and fresh beers brewed from nature with a purpose, which is pretty damn cool. I quite like that. But on here, it starts out with that thing. And then it says, following a complex barn renovation, Duration's sustainable brewery nods to the past and looks to the future with equipment built for consistent, sustainable efficiencies to produce purposely balanced beers. What does that mean? Who knows? They bought some ridiculous equipment, basically, and they're trying to justify it to us, dear viewer, the consumer, why we pay so much money for these beers. That's what it really means. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. And the tasting notes, funnily enough, and I've noticed this before, are literally what I've just read to you that says on there. So the only thing it has got is the spider diagram, which I will try somehow and get to you. But basically, the spider diagram, I don't know if this is, they've changed the position of where the spider legs are, not the spider legs, you know what I mean, the points on the compass all have a sort of a thing, a flavour or whatever attached to them. So I'm not sure if it's the same. I'll have to double check. But it looks like an upside down kind of Y. And we say hazy straw colour, hops in there, which is always good to know. Galaxy, Mosaic, and Eldorado. Mosaic is a pretty damn common hop that they use in everything. Malts, it's got some wheat in it. and it's got extra pale malt in there as well. And let's see, have we got an ingredient list? Yeah, we do have. Cool. So hopefully it will focus on what I'm looking at here, dear viewer. Come on, dude, focus. Focus, focus, focus. So we've got barley, we have wheat, which is what I said, water, hops, and yeast. That's about it. Wow, that is the longest intro I've done for a while. Tapping the top of the bad boy. And I don't know if I said already, but this can is a 440 can, which is perfect. Almost a pint. Oops, I dribbled a wee drop down there. You can see there is a drop almost ready to fall, but I'm going to hopefully grab that in time. Wow. There we go. Okay, so that is not too good, dear viewer. We have kind of 2.5 to 3 fingers worth of head, and this has been in the fridge for a day and a half, I think. And it's very cloudy, very murky, but can't see any actual floaters on there. Look at that head though, my God. Lovely, lovely, fluffy white head. Been in the fridge, so perhaps that would explode had it not be for me refrigerating this beer. Another reason to drink your beer young, so it doesn't explode everywhere. I'm getting a kind of tropicalness, but it's also got that kind of soapy kind of thing going on. But definitely tropical fruit. I'd say sort of the white, the high up, the light tropical fruits, not the kind of juicy sort of dank ones. This doesn't smell like a dank beer. It smells quite light, which is pretty cool. And as we said already, there's no Simcoe. Mosaic is one of those hops that's kind of, I guess it's no longer new school. It's, you know, it's been around sort of probably about 10 years now, I imagine. Cheers and beers. Oh, that's really nice, actually. Really light, really fresh. The hint of wheat in there has also given it that kind of, yeah, that kind of creaminess. Not in the same way as oats, and as far as I know, this doesn't have any oats in it, but it gives it that little creaminess that kind of dulls down some of the kind of verdant nature of certain hops. I don't think, you know, the ones especially in here are really verdant in themselves, but it just takes the edge off. So as opposed to a hard edge on your taste, it kind of it lingers a little bit. It gives it that kind of creamy kind of. It holds your hand on the way out the door. You know what I mean? Okay, so the head has abated. Not seeing, I did swirl it a tiny bit, but I didn't see any tide lines. So perhaps my lovely tide lines are a function of oat and not wheat by themselves. Interesting. We'll see if we can discuss that at a later point. Oh, but yeah. Oh, the other thing, I am getting those bubbles up front. Nice tickly bubbles. So the first hopping doesn't hit you. Not that it would do in these kind of hops, but we're getting tastes of things that are mellow. We are getting a little bit of kind of pininess, but yeah, there's the peaches, there's the mangoes, papaya perhaps. Those sort of more less juicy tropical fruits, but the more kind of mellow ones, the more chewy ones, the more silky smooth ones. Not really pineapple. Yeah, there's not those acidic kind of ones going on there. Maybe a tiny bit of melon, perhaps. Um, Ooh, wow. That carbonation was going to come, dear viewer. I do apologise. Anyway, oh, it's a bigger can, isn't it? And I didn't manage to squeeze it all in. So let's see. I wonder if there is going to be some sediment towards the end. Oh, God, there we go. Oh, dear. So I knew there was going to be some in there because it says, be careful. There we go. See if there. This, be careful. It may contain sediment. Well, dear viewer, as I have said before, unfortunately, this is a function of breweries trying to get their products out the door quickly. And they try and say, oh, it's all natural and we include things. We don't put any mashed up fish bladder or what's the other one? The seaweed stuff in there, which acts to kind of drop things out. But there are other things you can use that are vegan. Certain types of clay can act as a binder to certain things and they drop out. Or you just wait. Time will separate out your beer. But unfortunately, breweries don't have much time. They don't want to use time. Although I think it would solve a fair few problems. So we do have a little bit of sediment, a little bit of extra sediment in there. I cannot see any actual floaty lumps or chunks, which I was worried about. So I'm thinking there are going to be things like yeast, maybe some protein, um, maybe some pieces of dry hop, perhaps, but can't see them in here. Will that alter the taste? Let's see. There's only one way to find out, and that's the beauty of having a 440 can. Gives you some extra beer to drink. Wow, interesting. Um, I'm getting some kind of grape, some lighter things now, lychee perhaps, um, which I usually associate with Nelson Sauvin hops, and it doesn't have that. But Galaxy, it's from the same neck of the world. It's Australia, obviously, as opposed to New Zealand. Um, and as my memory fades as I'm getting old, I can't remember exactly what the profile for Galaxy is, but it is. I'm pretty sure it is a sort of more light, higher white fruit, if that makes sense to you. So we're not talking about verdant green hedgerows now. We're talking about lighter fruits. Um, yeah, things like grapes, even though they make juice. Um, yeah, kiwi, lychee, that type of thing. They're not as heavy, not as juicy as things like orange juice, for example, or pineapple juice, which are quite acidic. This isn't that. More high top notes as opposed to those real beefy, juicy notes. This is quite a nice beer, actually. Nice and refreshing. I'm glad it didn't say it was a session pale ale on here. They haven't actually said at all. I wonder if it says on my notes from the website. It just says pale ale, which is absolutely fantastic and fine with me. If they called it a session IPA, as you well know by now, dear viewer, I would not have been happy. But as a normal pale ale, fantastic. This is well within the parameters, especially in my brain, for a pale ale. They're not trying to trade on IPA, which is a terrible thing to do, isn't it? And that, dear viewer, there's even there is a sort of tide lines. A couple, there's one there and one there. That is a really nice beer, dear viewer. So, if you are in, dun dun dun, where are these guys from? By duration, Norfolk. you're over in Norfolk, or if you can get Norfolk beers, look out for Duration Brewery. And this particular beer is called Another Day Done, although it's not focusing, my dear viewer. That's what it says underneath in that hazy sort of way. Come on, dude, focus. There we go. Another Day Done Duration. And there we are, walking off to the pub. There's nothing wrong with that, is there, dear viewer? This has been Unclejona, waxing lyrical, so you guys don't have to. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, why don't you drink some beer?